All right, so for the rest of the exploration, we're going to be focusing on caching. And what caching allows us to do is store information so that we don't need to acquire it again. It's faster and it makes it so we can limit the amount of times we need to access APIs, remote APIs. Lowering that traffic is always a good thing. Sometimes they have throttling, sometimes they have limits on how many times you can access it. So caching your results tends to be very beneficial. And we're going to use something called Redis to do that, or Redis. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. But this will allow us to cache information, grab it when we need it. Now, caching stuff on Redis, it requires a server to be running. You can run a local Redis server for free. Um, However, when you deploy your project, then you have to make sure that that process is running wherever you're deploying it. So what I'm going to do is use a free online service called Upstash that allows us to set up a Redis server. This is free. We can only have one database at a time. So when you do project 3, you'll have to create a new data, or you have to delete the old one and create a new one, or you can just use the same database for both. I don't really care. Anyway, we're going to create our database here. Once you log in and click Redis, it should pop up very quickly. I logged in with GitHub. Exploration 3, Oregon. Now, I'm never going to ask you to add a payment plan to anything. So if anything requires it, either you're in the wrong place or something has changed. So please let me know. And we'll figure out a different service or a different way of doing it. For now, though, this is working fine. Free. Let's see, so I'm not clicking any of these. Exploration 3. And when we pop in here, it's going to give us our tokens right here. And we're going to add these tokens to our .env file. That's why I have everything squished down here. I'm hoping it doesn't expose too much here. Let's see if I can do this without exposing anything. Yeah, it just showed the end of it. It's fine. Okay, close that so I don't show it. Good. Okay, so, all right, we're all safe. It doesn't show it here, fortunately, either. Very nice. Now, there's instructions here for how to connect using Node. Connect with Upstash Redis. So we have to install a new Node package, just like this. Good. Package installed. And then we need to create a new Redis thing. And then this is how we get data and set data. We'll figure that stuff out later. But what I'll do is I'm going to create a new, inside of source, we'll create a new folder called lib. And this will be like our scripts and stuff. And we'll create a new file in there called redis.ts. And then inside of here, we'll just paste this in, just like that. But we can't, this is just a string. So we're going to replace this with process.env.upstash. This one as well, process.env.upstash rest token, just like that. And now we also need to export this. So we're going to export this one, and then we'll have access to Redis in other places. So if I go back to here and then I look at my data browser, there's nothing in here right now. So what I want to do is try to set something. And I'm going to set it like, I'm just going to test it. So let's do this. Inside of here, we're just going to try to set the word, essentially. So if I look over here, we'll import Redis. Whoops. Wait, didn't I call it? I did. There we go. So this will connect to our Redis, hopefully, and I just want to say Redis.set, and then it's going to be key and value. So I'm going to try setting the key as test and the value as actually word. Let's do word. And the value is okay. And I just want to see if this sets when we access this. So let's look at this. We're going to go back to here and we'll just type API/word. That's fine. Doesn't really matter what we use. Word/. There we go. Okay, now if I go back over to here, we can see that it stored that for us. Now it looks like we can store JSON as well. I want to see if we can store JSON, because that'll be a really big deal. JSON data. And let's try this again, rerun this, go back to here, and it looks like it stored JSON data. Beautiful. So we're able to store JSON data. What does that mean for us? Well, that also means that we can set it based on the data that's here. So what I want to do is actually get the data here. So we'll say const definitions equals this, and then we're going to return definitions. But we're also going to Redis.set, and we're going to set word definitions. Now when we do this, I go back over to here, it has all of those definitions associated with that. Why is it still test though? Oh, because I use the word test. Okay. If I use React, now we got another one for React, just like that. Beautiful. Look at this. It's storing it very, very nicely in JSON format, which is extremely helpful. We don't have to do any kind of conversion. It's pretty easy to convert JSON into a string and then decode it on the way back, but it's nice that it's able to just do it for us. So cool. It's storing our words and our definitions. So the next thing I need to do is I need to be able to check to see if it exists. So what I want to do, let's do it this way. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say console log redis.get word. And now if I do a word that we already have, let's see. Oh, I think I have to await it, right? There's no way that's instant. And we should await here as well, I believe. Let's try that again. There we go. So if we await it, you see that this comes back as existing, which means that if it exists, we can just return it. What if it doesn't exist? What if it's a word that I haven't put into there yet, like reaction? We get null. Okay, great. So all we have to do is we have to say cached, const cached equals await redis.getWord. And then we say if it's null, then we just go ahead and do the same fetch. If it's not null, we just return it. So we say if cached, which will null check it, then we return, then let's console log found. And then down here we'll say console log not found. This means that it's going to continue on. We're just going to return cached. Just like that. If cached, if it's cached, then return the cached one. And then we're not making that other request here. So if I do this now, we'll see it says found because it found it and it returned the cached one. It returned the reaction that was from here. If I use a different word, act or action or something, now it says not found. And now if I go over here, it added it to there. It did make the request. Now if I refresh this and do it again, This time it's found. Very cool. So we're checking first to see if it's cached. If it isn't if it is cached, just return the cached information. If it's not cached, then we fetch to our external API, get the data, and bring it back. And this will work from the front end perspective. It has no idea that it's been cached. From the front end, it has no idea that action is cached. It still looks exactly the same here, cached or not. I don't know how often the dictionary updates, but yeah, so this is a very, very important concept, is caching. There's several different ways to cache. We're using Redis and Upstash. This is what you're going to be using for your project.